So welcome to another tutorial series about the video generation using ComfyUI with the Hunyuan and the Wan model. This is an updated workflow that will work on both models since both have pros and cons. You can see from the video there, we're going to be replacing a few things, but the general concept will remain exactly the same. So let's remember ourselves about the 5 basic concepts, right? The text input prompt gen, the video generation there, the upscale with double down quality, the loop for longer video, meaning the image to video, and the merge for the final interpolation and final merge. So what's new? We have the Hunyuan 1 workflow that was already released. There's the text input prompt. There's the video generation that we see right there in the workflow. There's the latent upscale in the step number 3. There's the image to video loop. And there's the final merge that we see there in the Hunyuan workflow. Now, all of this is using Hunyuan model, right? You can see in the middle area there, those group are using the Hunyuan model. Those are the core video generation group. So that's using the Hunyuan model there. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be duplicating this workflow. And there was a reason for it, why I duplicate the workflow. But for now, see that we are duplicating it, but replacing the Wan model for the duplicated workflow. Each group will have slightly different input, different workflow by itself there, but we have in general 2 duplicated workflow with some specifics. Now why 2? Hunyuan versus Wan, there's pro and con right now. There's no clear winner. Let's look at it. What do we have? So we have the Hunyuan model that has many Lora available. If you go to Civitai, there's a bunch of them available. It's just so much, right? Because it's been there for much longer. There's the fast video feature, which is not there yet on the Wan model, which enable us to generate really rapidly with low frame. Multi-GPU features also a very nice feature to have there in ComfyUI, and the easier latent upscale. I was trying to use the latent upscale with the Wan. It's a bit more complicated, so with the Hunyuan it's a bit easier. Now with the Wan model, we do get better image to video. The image to video is very strong. Negative prompt is possible now. There's actually a negative prompt input, higher physics adaptation, and nice special effects availability. Just look at that. That looks amazing. So if we look at step number 4 for the image to video loop, we're gonna normally in the Hunyuan model replace the Hunyuan model with the image to video model. And for the Lora, let's remember, we cannot use a normal Hunyuan Lora. We'll have to use a image to video Lora, right? So those are specific Lora to do image to video. Now, if we look at Wan models, it's a bit more complicated here. With the Wan model, we have text to video and we have image to video, which is normal, but we have the 1.3 billion parameter and the 14 billion parameter, right? Parameters, think of it as, the neural network having how many books. The more books, the more output it's going to give you a better output, basically. So you can see here, each one of them has 1.3 and 14, and each one of them has the aligned Lora, right? So make sure that you choose the right billion parameter with the right Lora that matches it with the right model that you want to do there. Reason for 1.3, well, it's simply because if you have lower VRAM, right? So it depends what you need, what you can use there. So looking back at this in the image to video, we have to use the image to video model for the Wan. We cannot use a normal Lora. We'll have to use a Wan image to video Lora. And again, make sure here you choose the right billion parameter for each of them there, right? So that they match together. 1.3 or 14 billion parameter. So that being said, let's look at the workflow itself there. So here it is. This is the full workflow there. Is it a bit much? I mean, it does look complicated, but if you look a bit deeper, you'll see it's pretty simple. In fact, that's one of my key element here, right? I want to make sure that things are very simple. So if you look on the top, it's really the Hunyuan model there, the Hunyuan workflow. If you look at the bottom, it's a copy paste, right? I mean, it's exactly the same for the Wan model on the bottom there. Same structure, same almost everything. The content is a bit different, obviously, because it's a different model, but the general structure is the same. The left and right are common. I mean, it's the input text and the final merge. Those are not dependent on Hunyuan or Wan there. It can be used on both sides, so it's in the middle. And you have right in the middle there, the master controller of turning things on and off, right? So this is the new workflow that I'm sharing here, the master one workflow that I would like to use as both cases until we can see maybe a convergence or maybe a alignment toward one specific model. Then we can easily just remove or delete whatever that doesn't align with us anymore. So let's look at it to a bit more detail. Step 1, image to vid text prompt gen. I mean, that's the same one as before, so nothing special there to really describe. I mean, keep in mind, every box has way more detailed explanation in the previous video there, so do go check them out. Here in the middle, we have the controller group. I mean, to enable all those groups, you can turn them on and off there, right? So if you just want to do one, just turn off all those Hunyuan group and vice versa, right? I mean, just turn them on and off depending on what you want to run. So for example, here, let's try to disable all the Hunyuan groups, and we're just left with the common one and the Wan models there, the Wan groups. Let's disable the Wan one instead, and the bottom one we're going to be disabling. So all this is just depending on what you want to do. And I can tell you sometime I want to do a video gen with Hunyuan because I have a lot more Lora, and then I would like to do maybe a image to video with the Wan model because I have a better output. So really depends what I'm trying to do, and I'll be switching around there. And having just one workflow, it makes it a lot easier to just flow up and down and turning things on and off there. I'm going toward a cleaner look. You can see, I mean, it's a more revised look for the workflow there. I do have those multi-GPU node there. I mean, if you don't have multi-GPU, you can just disable them there, or just switch them and make sure you switch them to the right input there, right? So be mindful. There's the GGUF, there's the multi-GPU, and there's the normal model, the regular model. So just switch it with those black node there to the right input that you want to use as a model. I am using now a lot more the fast video. I mean, I was using it before, but now I'm using way more. I mean, those settings for the fast video, I've applied them to this workflow for the shift, the steps and so on there, so that it's adapted toward the fast video. Because if you don't know, I mean, fast video is just enables you with lesser step to have faster precise result there, right? I mean, you have more detailed result with way less step. Does it impact the quality? Yes. I mean, all the tip and tricks to reduce time on generation has some impact, but it's a question of, is it okay? Is it good enough? I think it's good enough there. I'm going for 10 to 12 steps using the fast video as the final gender. I think it's good enough as a result there. I also use Tcache. I mean, I just use it from the model version and not the sampler version. The sampler version doesn't work as good from my experience there. The green nodes there, I mean, I put them all together so that it's all the input together. And like I mentioned, I mean, I'm trying to do those highway of connection line, right? And not having all them mixed up, right? Because that's very triggering, right? I'm trying to keep them rather straight and make them flow vertically together so that it's easier to follow there. Now on the step number 2, I mean, nothing much changed there, but number 3, you can see to make sure that you switch correctly, that you use the basic scheduler here to do the denoise. The steps are lowered simply because we have the fast video. I added a detail daemon. This is something new that I added there with the switch so that you can turn it on and off. But for example here, this is the original video there without the daemon detailer. Now if I add the detailer there with 0.5, I mean, a lot more details, maybe not that great. So that's why don't overdo it. But really it depends on what you're trying to do and what is your image, right? So there's no perfect value there. But if you put 0.1, you can see it's much nicer now. So I think that's reasonable. I do lower the step to only 5, and it's still looking very good because this has the denoise to be lowered also, right? So lower step still looks good, but I mean it does change the output there, right? So it's not the same output. I tried a bunch of other values there. I mean, there's a bunch of other video I tried there, but I think here with the lower step, with the lower denoise, and with the lower detail amount there, it gives better result, right? But that's a feeling. You crank it and you change it to your liking, and you can even turn it off there by switching to the different switch. So step number 4, I mean, the image to video group. This is still in the Hunyuan workflow there. I do use the fast video now with the Lora, so make sure that you use it too. And you have the switcher as usual. Just a reminder, because sometimes we forget, right, to switch to the right input there. Is it the video input? Is it the image input? So please make sure that you choose the right switch. The final merge here is exactly the same as before, so nothing much to share here. Now let's look at the Wan section, right? So let's go to the controller, and then let's enable. In fact, let's enable the whole thing so that we can have a review together. There we go. So let's go down and let's look at the Wan video gen group, right? Step number 2, because step number 1 is the same, right? You'll see it's pretty much the same structure here. A few element is different. Obviously, it's a different model, so it has different input there. There is no multi GPU, so there's only two input to choose for the model. There is a negative prompt, so that is very cool. I mean, make sure that you change the prompt negative matching your style there, because it's not always the same negative prompt that should be used. With the step number 3, latent guidance, it's pretty much basic, nothing to share. The external video reference is exactly the same also, so nothing new to talk about. If you know how it works already, then you know how it works. Image to video, a few things is a bit different than the Hunyuan model. I mean, again, there's only 2 input here. Do you choose between the GUFF or the normal diffusion model there? I do have to impress that you have to use the matching Lora, right? I mean, make sure that you use the right Lora with the model that you selected. There's also a negative prompt here, so I think that's a given with the Wan model. And here, I mean, you have exactly the same thing. It's almost copy paste with a few difference. So that being said, let's look at it. Let's see how it runs. So here's an example here. We have a image that we want to give it some motion there, so that we're using image to video. I'm changing the resolution so that it matches that load image video. Load image. I try to select whatever that matches the most, that ratio for the image to video. I'm keeping the C the same. I'm changing the value here. I'm putting something low here for the frame count, just to have a preview, just to make sure that it looks good before I generate something longer. The quality, we can leave it at 20 because it's just 9 frame. I mean, it shouldn't be taking too long. For the prompt, well, I will have to change it, but for now, I'll just put something very generic. I'll just put a generic prompt there. Validate that we have the right model, the right Lora. I'm using the Lora that makes it into a live wallpaper, so that it gives us a motion. And a generic prompt here, I'm just gonna delete the whole thing. So just make sure that you switch to the correct switch to make sure that you have the right input for the image. Now let's go look at the input so that we have a good input prompt. Let's load that image into the input prompt area. So let's disable all the Hunyuan and only keep the right group. Let's go down here and let's run this. Here's the result. The result looks good. I mean, for a preview, keep in mind the preview is starting from the image, so it's gonna look good by default right away. It's over time that's gonna look a bit worse if it doesn't have a good prompt. So let's bring that to 65. Let's lower the quality value because we want now to have just a preview of the motion to see if it looks good for the motion. And let's run this. A bit of fast forward. I mean the result we can look right away. So the motion itself, it's okay. I mean, there's a bit of flickering, but as we increase the step, I think it's going to resolve by itself there. Now let's go to the prompt area, right? So that we can generate a prompt that matches our need. Okay, let's enable that group so that we can generate the prompt that's matching it. Here we go. Now that it's enabled, let's run this so that we can have that generated prompt that we would like to see and use, so we have more detail when we run the image to video. So this is reading the image and then giving us the prompt. The AI is telling us what it sees. So the result is right there. Let's go and grab that result and copy it. It's a good thing to always review what's written in there. Sometimes it doesn't make any sense, or sometimes it has details that you don't want to have, right? I mean, it sees things that you're like, no, that's not what I want, right? So just make sure that you revise what's written there before you just use as is and wonder why the generation is not looking good. So let's re-enable the image to video group and let's paste that text. And with this, let's reduce it a bit. I mean, it was taking a bit of time there. I'm going to reduce the frame count a bit there. It's just a test, so it's fine. Let's run this, fast forward. And here's the result. Right, I mean, the result looks good. And that's how you do the image to video there with the current workflow. Just make sure you enable, disable accordingly, right? So a reminder here, we have the top Hunyuan model. We have the bottom Wan model. They're just different groups. Enable them, disable them as needed. We don't want to run the whole thing. It's just too long. Heck, if you really don't want to use something, you can even delete the whole group, right? If you really don't want to use it and see it. They should work independently. So step 1 here, right there, right? So the common area. Step 2, top or bottom is still the same step 2, which is the text input for the video generation. You have the step 3 for the external video reference. You have the step 3 for the latent guidance. So that's the same for top and bottom. It's just slightly different content. You have the image to video loops. So image to video, and you can loop it forever if you want to. And the final merge at the end there, which is a common group. So that's the current workflow that I'm sharing. Check the description and you'll see the workflow available. I'm keeping the door open simply because, you know, we're going both Hunyuan and Wan at this point there. So I'm having both of them, and we might even have more model coming along for sure, right? So, but for now there's two, so let's keep it that way. I'm not saying that true, but I'm gonna start adding more and more, right? So here's the bonus section. Enjoy. So thank you very much for watching the video. I had a lot of fun doing this one there because it's such a fun new model to work with, especially with the image to video. It's really giving us some really good result, especially with the special effect. I can see I'm spending a lot of time playing with this there with all the special effect. I mean, I've shared one, but there's plenty other being released there on the Civit AI website. So go check them out, check all the special effect, and see what you can come out as output there. On that, have a nice day, and thank you for watching.